episode 94. That's the episode we're at of 55 and 5 with card 112. I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you and hope you can keep up. I'm Ian Riccaboni, Cary Silkin, AJ from Bisson Creative and Web Design with us. Cary, today we have a first ballot Stampede Wrestling Hall of Famer.
Well, that sounds promising.
But it's the only one out of that first ballot that I had no idea who was.
You know, people that have been following this series, Ian selects the cards before he comes here. And sometimes I know he doesn't do this. Sometimes it seems like he said, I'm just going to make Cary look like a complete fool this week where he wouldn't know any of these obscure names. Sometimes he'll throw me a ringer. Maybe he did this week, but that's all right. It's part of the fun of the game.
It's part of the fun of the game. If you don't know why this project exists, it's because I through the quarantine and the pandemic, I completed the whole set of these in PSA graded form. And my wife jokingly said, I bet you don't know half of these people. And she was right. I don't. And so the fun of this is I'm bringing them over to Cary. Cary shared some stories about seeing some of the wrestlers live, some of the ones at the end of their career. So this one, there's a possibility. Now, small possibility you saw him on TV, but it would have had to have been right place, right time. It would have had to have been
did he wrestle into the mid-60s?
Wrestle in the 63.
Oh, I didn't see.
Yeah, okay. There you go, everybody. Cary, what can you tell me about the 6'4" Texan Jim Riot Call Wright?
Wow.
Yeah. Good name. Riot Call's that's a cool name.
I know our producer AJ does a nice close-up. Well, what is the first thing you notice when you look at that picture?
His bulge.
No.
No? That's what I mean.
I was looking at his
he's got a big chest and shoulder.
His chest.
Yeah.
He almost like he has small breasts.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And he's got a very hairy belly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's got I bet he stuffed his shorts.
That too.
Yeah. I bet you.
Yeah, I mean, if I saw this guy coming, I'd be running down the street.
He's huge. Yeah.
So with a name like Riot Call Wright, and I do not know, once again, they might as well have a mannequin here. like one of the guys, go listen last time Penn Station, one of these diggers, it was just like, give me 4 cigarettes for
cats, please.
For Van Halen. So I hope Riot Call Wright has some really interesting stuff, because with a name like that, you got to back it up.
It's a cool name. He wrestled from 35 to 63.
Wow.
Got his start in Camden. Do you know who else got their start in Camden?
Buddy Rogers.
Yeah.
What was Riot Call's first name?
It was Jim. Jim Riot Call Wright. Yeah. And he had a what appears to be a fictitious brother. He wrestled occasionally with a guy named Reuben Wright. If you look at Reuben Wright, later became a Mongol, not one of the Mongols, but just a man named the Mongol. If you look at them, they don't look related, but that doesn't mean anything. He got a start for Ray Fabiani in Philly and in Camden.
Philly promoter.
Yep. And his debut match, as far as anybody can tell, is against Rudy Dusek, one of the Riot Squad, the Duseks. He wrestled all over Philly, New York, Boston, Houston, Atlanta, Memphis, Indianapolis, and D.C., all within the first 3 years of his career. So this guy was really hitting the road right out of the gate.
Who was the other? You mentioned Ray Fabiani. I'm trying to dispense some kind of information. I just saw a very interesting picture someone posted of Gorilla Monsoon with another.
Phil Zacco.
Very good.
Yeah, Phil Zacco.
So Fabiani and Zacco were the core of the old school, when our buddy Willie Gilzenberg was one in Newark and so on. And so Abe Ford was in Boston. But continue, please.
Absolutely. What's interesting, he might have wrestled in all 50 states. And I didn't go through this with a fine-tooth comb, but some of the results that popped out, he's got results in Idaho, Montana, Washington, Nebraska, Kansas. Now, Kansas and Nebraska were actually kind of hot in the 40s and 50s in terms of wrestling, but some of these rare, quote unquote, rarer states, Idaho, Montana, the Dakotas, he might not have gotten to Alaska, but that's pretty close. And for a non-modern wrestler, a guy that started out in 1935, he made it all over. So that's pretty neat. He wrestled in LA briefly as Kolo Stasiak and drew a good crowd against Luthez for the title. There's some video, not much, with Riot Call Wright. And although he was one of the rare challengers that more than once went 0-2 in best out of 3 fall matches for the NWA Championship.
Hey, at least he got the shot.
Right. And he would be the challenger in Stampede and Big Time.
Okay.
He became a Canadian legend. He spent most of his career in Western Canada. First ballot, 1995, first ballot Hall of Famer for Stampede. The class was he and Luthez, he and Stu Hart and a few others. Interestingly enough, unfortunately, he died shortly after his last known match in 1963. So Riot Call Wright, just a huge Texan, 6'4", pretty bulky, but a legend in Western Canada. One of the gets credited for a lot of the big houses there that occurred, and whether it was Stampede or Big Time, or however they kind of amalgamated later, he was one of the big stars there.
Yeah, and there's probably some guys, Les Thatcher,
right,
or Gerald Briscoe.
Yeah,
some of these guys that are a little bit older than me, who have a good history of wrestling. Might be like, you didn't know Riot Call Wright,
right?
But so that was a good one, and a long career. He was doing something right.
Right. Love the pun. I love the pun. Almost 30 years, and he probably would have kept going. I mean, the day he died, it was very close to the date I could find for the last result. So he was still active, it appears at the time. So that was a Western Canadian legend from Texas, Riot Call Wright. Tomorrow, we have somebody who has one of the earliest results I've ever seen from Mexico.
Oh, no.
And he's from Portland.
Okay.
So that's your hint for that one. And tomorrow we will talk about Wild Red Berry. It is not Wild Red Berry, but we're going to get to talk about it. So at least we'll be able to talk about Wild Red Berry if we're not sure who number 95 is. But number 95 comes to you tomorrow, 8 p.m. All of these go live at 8 p.m. each and every weekday until we get to 121. We're closing in on doing the whole set. I want to thank you for joining us on this journey. For AJ, Cary, I'm Ian Riccaboni. Happy wrestling, everybody.